This is an exclusive interview with an insider who wants to blow the lid off of what happened to the moon when it rang like a bell. I'm your host on April 6, 2024, at 7:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We were all treated to a spectacular, total solar eclipse. The moon passed between the Earth and the Sun, which happens only twice a year. But this time was different. Something strange happened that no one saw coming. As it made its orbit, the moon mysteriously changed shape for 3 hours. Both videos show the moon making its routine orbit in front of the face of the sun. No one thought anything was out of the ordinary. Official sources refused to discuss the event, but one insider came forward to reveal the truth. After all, sometimes the sky does strange things and most people don't pay attention. Here are just some of the videos that were uploaded. Oh, it's crazy, man. That was insane. We don't know what it is, but there's definitely something out there making noise. Yeah, like a train. Yeah, like a freight train. Yeah, I heard it too. I think it was coming from up above. In other words, a train full of cargo. The sound of a freight train is iconic. You know it when you hear it. That was so crazy. Boom. I don't know if you guys heard that. I felt it in my chest, shook the windows. I don't know what it is. It sounds like thunder, but it wasn't thunder. People who witnessed the phenomenon reported that it sounded like a train, a freight train in particular. Our source tells me that this is called a harmonic vibration. It happens whenever an object vibrates at its natural frequency. Did that just happen right now? Did anybody else hear a boom right now? It happens every time the moon passes in front of the sun, but this time it was especially loud. Why? Because this was no ordinary eclipse. There's another sound that I can't seem to get enough of. The moon was closer than usual, and the gravitational pull between the Earth and the moon was stronger than usual. When the moon covers just a sliver of the sun, it's called a partial eclipse. I want to tell you that our source is not just some random guy who happened to be standing outside during the eclipse. He works at NASA. This means that the moon doesn't vibrate as much and the sound isn't as loud. But when the moon is closer, the gravitational pull is stronger, which causes the moon to vibrate more and the sound is louder. When the moon completely covers the face of the sun, it's called a total solar eclipse. According to our source, this could potentially have significant implications for our understanding of the dynamics of the Earth-Moon system. Additionally, it could help us better understand the moon's internal structure and composition, as well as its response to external forces. Imagine you're pushing a swing. When you push the swing, it goes higher and higher. Then, as it starts to come back down, you push it again. Why is that? Well, because NASA hasn't said a word about it. He thought it was just some random noise. But then he started hearing more and more reports of people hearing the same thing. So he decided to take matters into his own hands. To make matters worse, our source says that he tried to bring it up with his colleagues, but they either didn't hear it or they didn't care. We deserve to know the truth about what happened to the moon. The swing goes even higher. This is similar to the force of gravity between the Earth and the moon. He wanted someone to hear his story and hopefully spread the word. Or perhaps they're trying to cover up the fact that the moon changed shape. This is significant because it is close to the fundamental resonant frequency of the Earth-Moon system, which is estimated to be around 6.6 millihertz. But where was the train? There was no train, so what could it be? This sound in particular just rings throughout my body. Do you feel it? Yeah, and whatever it is, it's coming from above. But then something even stranger happened. The moon started ringing like a bell. A loud, deep sound that seemed to echo across the entire country. Now, how does a moon vibrate? Well, here's how. Our source says that this constant change in speed creates a vibration in the moon. And when the moon is in close proximity to the Earth, that vibration can be heard as a sound. When the moon orbits the Earth, it experiences a force of gravity. This force of gravity pulls the moon towards the Earth. If the moon were any closer, it would crash into us. But at its current distance, the moon simply slows down as it gets closer to the Earth. Then, it starts speeding up again as it moves away. The moon started to glow an eerie shade of blue. Some people on the internet said this was because the atmosphere was scattering the light of the sun, giving it a blue hue. Others said it was because the eclipse caused a reaction in the upper atmosphere, causing it to glow. Today, I want to share with you the incredible story of what happened to the moon. You won't hear this anywhere else. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. This is a routine occurrence. Every time there's going to be a total solar eclipse, NASA puts out a press release. It's nothing new, nothing special. In the run-up to the eclipse, NASA put out a news release saying we will have a total solar eclipse. On the day of the eclipse, they continued their routine by releasing 2 videos, one from a satellite and one from the space station. But after the moon had passed between the Earth and the sun, something very unusual began to happen. At first, there wasn't much to say about it. People started sharing videos of the mysterious noise on social media. Within minutes, millions of views. Here's another one. That's a good one. And here's one more. So there's definitely something out there. It was like the sound you would hear if you stood next to a freight train as it sped by. Now, a freight train is defined as any train that carries freight cars, typically used to transport goods or materials, typically over long distances. Millions of people were standing outside watching the solar eclipse, and some of them heard this freight train sound. Well, according to our source inside NASA, what you heard was the sound of the moon vibrating. This means that the moon is constantly accelerating towards the Earth and decelerating away from the Earth. If you want to understand this better, here's an analogy. As the moon gets closer to the Earth, gravity pulls it down. As it moves away, the gravitational force decreases. According to our source, the sound of the moon ringing is nothing new. You see, this was a total solar eclipse, which means the moon completely covered the face of the sun. Our source tells me that when the moon is farther away, the gravitational pull between the Earth and the moon is weaker. This is why the sound of the moon ringing like a bell was especially loud during this total solar eclipse. Okay, so I think you've earned a little bit more information about our source. He was working at the Goddard Space Flight Center in Maryland when he heard the sound of the moon ringing. He didn't believe it at first. Concerned, he checked the official channels, but there was nothing there. NASA hadn't mentioned the sound at all. According to our source, he has been studying the data from the eclipse, and he believes that the moon was vibrating at a frequency of approximately 7 Hz. The fact that the moon was vibrating at a frequency close to the resonant frequency of the Earth-Moon system suggests that there may have been some sort of interaction between the two bodies that caused the moon to resonate. So now you might be asking, what exactly is the significance of the moon vibrating at a frequency close to the resonant frequency of the Earth-Moon system? For example, it could provide insights into the nature of the gravitational interaction between the two bodies and their mutual influence on each other's motion. Further investigation into this phenomenon could potentially lead to new discoveries and better understanding of the universe that we live in. However, despite the potential significance of this discovery, our source at NASA has been reluctant to share his findings with the public. In fact, they haven't even acknowledged that the moon changed shape. This is why our source reached out to us. It's hard to say why NASA is ignoring this story. Perhaps they just don't think it's important. After all, it was just a lunar eclipse. Whatever the reason, it's clear that NASA is not being completely transparent about what happened on April 6, 2024. And that's why I'm calling on NASA to come clean. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment below and tell me what you think NASA is up to.